SEC 2. The ACC really gets cooking. Number 17 Duke taking on the FSU Seminoles. Duke with a lineup change as they face an Noles program that has been pretty thorny against them in past years. Duke at 10-3. FSU at 4-10 after a really ugly start, but playing better lately. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and Duke will get that first crack at it here today. Top for Lively, the 7-1 freshman, and quickly they give it right back to Caleb Mills. On the baseline watch, Matthew Cleveland, number 35, as he goes. That's how the Seminoles go.
Yeah, he's been their best player, especially over the past 4 games where he's been putting up double-double numbers.
Worley with an air ball, and he's going to hear that from the crowd.
Number 2 in his last time out from three-point range, shooting an air ball in the first possession.
Duke, of course, had that absolutely grueling November, but this is just their second game in 3 weeks, so you wonder how sharp are they going to be against FSU.
Yeah, and you also have to think about the fact that Derek Lively, who's in the starting lineup, and Dariq Whitehead, both those guys did not play their last time out, so getting them acclimated after 20 days off.
Worley, the talented sophomore, nearly gave that one away. FSU 4-10 as mentioned. Ugly start really doesn't cut it for FSU. They began the season with 4 consecutive losses to Stetson, UCF, Troy, and Florida. I mean, some shockers in there.
Yeah, absolutely some shockers in there, especially when you consider the dominance that Leonard Hamilton has had over the state of Florida throughout his tenure at Florida State.
Way downtown, a misfire by Blakes, but right back out for Roach. A little fired up and miss. So kind of a chilly opening 90 seconds here for the Duke Blue Devils.
Nope, this is not a great shooting Duke team. They hang their hat on their defense and rebounding, but the longer this game goes along and they allow Florida State to stay in it, Florida State will build more and more confidence down the stretch. Done that by defending.
And a spark plug off the bench now. They'll see if that is also true in the starting lineup. Roach will give it up here, and Blake's looking inside. Mitchell back out. Blake's will launch. Got it. A triple on the money.
Doesn't hurt the fact that he's been knocking down the 3 ball as well, and that's where Duke has struggled this season.
Yeah, he's been reliable. He's been one Duke player who has been 37% outside the 3. Goes on the drive. A wild play there, and an offensive foul. He'll get hit with a charge.
And Jeremy Rose got in great position, but
still managed to beat top 25 Duke last year in overtime in Tallahassee. Duke got their revenge here at Cameron Indoor. Blake's nice handle. Going to be tipped out, but right back to FSU, and on the move comes Worley. Cross court. Darren Green, who can really shoot it, drains that one.
You put that on the money, partner. He can really shoot the basketball, shooting 41% from 3, second in the ACC. That time stepping inside the line, knowing that the Blue Devils was going to run him off the 3-point line.
He can be really explosive at 30 against St. John's. 5-4 Duke from the corner. The jumper on the way, in and out by Roach. He scuffled from 3-point land like so many Blue Devils have. 33%. He's had an up-and-down start to his year. Green way downtown. That's like a layup for him.
It absolutely is. And when you consider the fact that you give him the space, Duke guarding him with a much taller defender in Mark Mitchell, with Mitchell with his hands down, and you know what Mark Jackson says, hands down, man down.
Pull up by Roach, and a little too strong. Batted around. Duke will get a second effort. Mitchell inside will draw the foul. With 15-50 to pick up their 11th win of the season. Right now ranked number 17. Blake's getting into the starting lineup. Gives it up for Mitchell. Tiptoeing through that lane. They'll swing it. Here's Whitehead's shot. Well, he got an excellent look. Another offensive board by Young. Here's Proctor. Well, they're getting good opportunities.
Well, I mean, one of the goals in the game of basketball is to get more shots than the opponent. When you've got a guy like Ryan Young getting the job done with offensive glass like that, oftentimes you're going to win that battle.
Worley to the baseline. Sealed. Got it for Jackson. He can't stick it. Young with another rebound. He's had a bunch of those since coming in. Duke coming off a grueling November, but they haven't played all that much here in the last few weeks. Downstairs, Young again, and he'll take the hit. He'll be at the foul line to shoot two.
And one of the things that has to happen when you play against Florida State, they're going to switch 1 through 5. You also mentioned the Ohio State win here on their home court. So, you know, the Blue Devils have definitely been tested early.
Bill's trying to bust a drought, and he does. They had not scored in over 3 minutes and had been 0 for their previous 5. They needed that one. So far, it has not been the kind of Duke team that Coach K had year after year after year that could really bust away from you like on a 22-4 run. Here comes Mills again going up high.
That's what you cannot do against Florida State. You cannot turn the basketball over and allow Florida State to get out into transition because they are dangerous with the full head of steam.
Young zips it here for Blakes. He'll take the lane. Blake straight on. Got it. With a 3.
You're talking about a young man that put the work in during the offseason to work on that jumper. Jalen Blakes was not this type of shooter a year ago, but you can see he has the confidence in the work he's put in.
I mean, lately, he's been one of their very best offensive players with that shot developing, as you mentioned, the work paying off. Mills again, and he'll draw the foul. Taylor Mills getting very
struggling significantly and built each and every program into a win.
Young foul by House.
The learning curve that has been being a freshman in high major college basketball.
A world of talent, no question about that. Great gifted player. Duke on a 7-0 run. I wonder if some of these guys coming in now, you know, because they're not maybe of the caliber some of the players that Coach K had who came in as freshmen, walking violation here.
And that's really what, there aren't a lot of veterans left on this Duke roster to be able to show these guys the way, and even those who are haven't been veterans in this Duke program.
Young with another offensive board. Trying to go in strong, plucked away by Mills, but on the baseline, so Duke will have it. Memphis injury.
Yeah, late in the Virginia game, went up, got a rebound, and came down awkwardly, and was doing that game and looked ugly from the beginning. Sorry to see Cam out.
I mean, the student section isn't completely packed. That is always the case.
These are the more seasoned Cameron Crazies. This is actually what you get during Christmas break when they have the opportunity to purchase tickets and be a part of the student section.
I think that's very nicely said. Seasoned from the corner Green. That is Dante Green, the 6'10 freshman. Pulled it. John Shire met in his shoot-around today. Came all the way from London.
Yeah, this is a bucket list item for many basketball fans, many fans of course, Coach K and the Duke Blue Devil program.
Filipowski straight on with a miss. Mitchell will pick that one off, and they're dominating on the offensive glass. And Blakes will be the beneficiary. His first start, he's liking it.
He absolutely is, and that's a little bit of a celebration right there. I'm not sure if that's a guitar, but he doesn't have the left hand up. He's just strumming the guitar with only a right hand. Must have a shoulder strap on.
Tickle on the twine. He has 11, and this is the biggest lead so far for Duke today. So the Seminoles need to locate a hot hand. Worley shoved and fouled. They'll stop the clock at 8:04.
You look forward to getting back there, but it hasn't been a great start for Worley thus far.
Green with a nice shot. Boy, he's got an array of shots that he can make.
Yeah, he's a weapon for the Noles. Absolutely is that. Can score at different levels, and you see his ability to attack off the bounce, even beating good defense.
Swing it around for Mitchell. Here's Roach from 15. Too strong. Cleveland with the rebound. Good rebounder, 7 a game. He wants to go coast to coast. Harassed and knocked away. Seminoles have had it in the hands of Darren Green quite a bit here in the first half. He'll miss that one, but he has 7, and he'll get a second chance.
See, Grandison came out with his hand up, making sure he didn't give Green a good look, knowing he can shoot it from way out there.
Shot clock down to 5. Mills got it. Three-pointer on the money for Caleb Mills.
Mills now 3 for 3 from the field. He's gotten off to a good offensive start. The stars for Florida State have shown up. They just haven't had any help from the supporting cast.
Proctor on the drive. Grandison into the ball game. And he'll drill that from three-point land.
And now the Blue Devils starting to get some production from their other guys. Grandison knocking down a three. Other guys have gotten involved in the scoring action for the Blue Devils.
Grandison's a guy who can make his three-pointers too. 36%. Duke has been off target from three-point land this season so far, but they have a couple of guys who can stick it.
And Grandison, another one of those veterans, but not a veteran within the Duke program. A graduate transfer from Marquette.
Cleveland, shot clock to 2. Gave it away. Mills will have to launch. Back over to the Blue Devils. Right now, 31-20.
And coming off the bench is a big reason why the Blue Devils have such an advantage in this game.
And Cleveland gets started. Coming in at 14-7. A pull-up pop by Green. Yes, swishes it in. Boy, his shot-making ability is so true.
Yeah, Green doesn't need any plays run for him. Just put the basketball in his hands. He can go get one on his own.
And again, making threes, too, to the tune of 44% for FSU. They've needed all of it so far today. Young to the lane. Yes, that's a pretty shot off the window.
And I love the fact that Jon Scheyer recognizing what is working well for his team, making sure that Ryan Young continues to get his hands on the basketball because he's been productive.
Northwestern grad with 10. Basketball coming free for a moment, scooped up by Cleveland. Under 3 to go in the first half for Cameron Indoor. Cleveland from 17 feet, no. Coming off a disappointing loss to Wake Forest, even though they had a couple of players out. And Lively and Whitehead, they both ill, didn't make that trip. Young again. Man, what a story here in the first half for Duke.
He absolutely has been that. 12 points and 5 rebounds already for Ryan Young here in this first half of the game that he didn't even start.
Yes, quiets the crowd with a triple from the corner.
Big bucket for Chandler Jackson in that corner. And Jackson's a guy that's not really getting a lot of practice time, dealing with injuries, so not on the court as much in practice. Is the first year trying to learn his way through this program.
Mr. Basketball in Tennessee's out of Memphis. Grandison again, it's Young. The kick back out, Grandison. Got a look and it rattles in from three-point land.
But even though Ryan Young is the hot guy, he didn't force an opportunity right there. Recognized the help was coming, got it right back to Grandison, who was able to knock down the three ball.
Very unselfish. Mills on Roach, that should be entertaining. On the bounce feed, Cleveland, tough catch, couldn't get it to go. Duke wants to run. Whitehead in the lane and lays it in. And look out, bit of a breakaway here for the Duke Blue Devils. We've seen that before.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot, and you're accustomed to seeing it from Duke when you come into this building. There's going to be a stretch where players start smacking the floor and they lock in defensively.
And the pick by Whitehead. Trying to go all the way through, and a foul on the play, and he'll be at the line with 45 seconds before.
State assistant coaches, Coach Dennis Gates and Charlton Young.
Indeed.
Doing a great job at Mizzou.
That's going to be an offensive foul. McLeod setting the screen, but
only had 5 the entire game versus Notre Dame in their win at Kentucky.
Roach to run some clock. About 4 seconds difference between the game and shot clock. Roach back outside. Grandison can't hit it. Rebounded by Mills and on the line there. He's going to turn it right back over to Duke. Proctor trying to get it in. Whitehead, 5 seconds to go, and tipped out by FSU with 3. That'll be the end of the first half. Big Mo certainly on Duke's side They open up a 42-25 advantage on a 7.
He missed the Maryland Eastern Shore game, came back with Wake Forest, had 5 turnovers in that game. Not himself right now, but playing through it.
Look at that, Worley going over the top and down it went.
Yeah, I thought it was a lob, honestly.
I did too.
But from our angle, it definitely looked like a lob, but I'm sure Worley would absolutely love to have that bucket.
Jalen Worley, 6'6" sophomore. His dad's godfather, Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow.
Stan Jones told me that, the outstanding coach for FSU.
Our angle up here didn't lie to us. That was a lob. Worley just threw it in the basket.
Filipowski downstairs for 2.
And that's his first bucket of the game. Yes. But you know, one thing I like about it, he hasn't forced the action. Even though he's the leading scorer coming in averaging close to 15 points per game, he didn't force anything, played great basketball, and did the job defensively as well. He continues to slide his feet.
Mills running right into Filipowski, who will get hit with a person.
Individually, each and every one of his guys.
They have played really good defense this season. Lost a few games early, of course. That grueling schedule we talked about, I think top 11 in the month of November. But they have played tight D all year, averaging 60 points per game, holding their opponents to 60 a game. Lakes with a kick. Roach to the lane, and he'll get hit with 18-16 to go. And I've never seen a college basketball team beaten up quite like FSU was last year. They run a nice one here for Gordon, and he will lay that one in.
Yeah, you remember that's a Florida State team that started out ACC play last year at 6-1. And then the injury bug continued to hit them over and over again. It was a downward struggle from there.
Mitchell swings for Blakes. Roach backing away. Shot clock a factor now, down to 4. And that one is going to be bounced out of play, thrown away by the...
all the way to the end with the #1 team in the country. Then went to Virginia, because the same thing there, competed with a top 5 team, and they picked up some confidence then.
Foul here on Whitehead.
A year,
wow,
or 2 years ago, and I can tell you that it was Leonard Hamilton who told me he felt like the Reek was going to Duke before anyone else. He told me that was the lead.
Those with a missing close. Whitehead cradling the rebound. Duke has gone a little bit chilly here in the last couple of minutes.
And this is what Florida State has done, especially as of late. They just found their way to chisel back in the game in the second half.
Young fouled on the floor. Proctor gets it in. Back for Roach. Mitchell trying to slice his way inside and draws the foul. Cleveland time. 48-35. Jackson up top, the freshman. Cleveland stumbled a bit, almost gave it away. Shot clock down to 7. Jackson will feed Cleveland. A tough shot made tougher by Mitchell. One of the toughest places to win, not in recent years for an opponent, but maybe they're bringing that back. Over the top, and it's Cleveland for 2.
Nice execution, nice design coming out of the timeout by Leonard Hamilton and his staff to get the bucket. And again, it's still a 14-point game, but you feel like Florida State's been able to find something.
Filipowski going in strong for 2 points. It's been a pretty quiet day for Kyle Filipowski so far, just 4 points, but you mentioned earlier he's been unselfish. He hasn't forced it. Green steps back and drains it. That'll be a 2-pointer.
And it's been feast or famine with Green. It's either air ball or bottom of the net. There's nothing in between for him in this game.
There's 11. Roach to take his time here. Led Duke to last year's Final Four as the starting point guard, directing traffic. Trying to get by House. And a rebound tip to FSU. Here they come. Worley gets it off for Green, and a quick strike. That didn't take long. He has 13.
Filipowski with the 3 fouls. Did not want to foul on that possession. Conceded the layup.
Roach cross court. Whitehead baseline. Followed up by Filipowski for two.
And we see now Kyle Filipowski starting to flex his muscle, especially on the interior offensive rebound.
Green doesn't need much of a look, does he? Just a tiny window, and he can knock it down.
But I love the confidence. He's shot a couple air balls in this game, hasn't been deterred at all, still stepping up, knocking down threes from 25 feet.
And a guy the ACC is going to find out about. Timeout here. Transfer from UCF.
Often.
So Duke with it. Under 10 to go. They've not been able to shake the Noles completely. Filipowski asking for it outside the lane. The pass was tipped. Does get to Blakes. Shot clock to 2. Here's Mitchell airborne. In and out. Rebound up and in by the hard-working Young. And, he works so hard on the offensive glass, and it pays off for him.
He absolutely does once again. And Ryan Young does a great job of getting inside positioning when the shot goes up. It's almost as he's trying to come up with that defensive rebound. 16
points for him. Cleveland draws the foul. Did get the shot in the air if you're a Seminole, because he's not going to hit the shot. He came into the game with 42% from three-point land. It's a giant improvement.
Reasons why he's already made as many three-pointers thus far early in the season as he did all season. That number is 6. He made 6 last year, and he's made 6 already on this season with, of course, an entire ACC play to go. So when you think about Matthew Cleveland, he's put in the work, and oftentimes now you're getting to see him reap the benefits of it.
The whistle here. By the way, Filipowski. Mitchell retaining possession and tied up. And that's going to be a possession arrow.
Have a point.
Mitchell lines up a 3. He knocks it down.
Part of the reason why we say he needs more shots, more attempts from beyond the three-point arc when he's shooting that great of a percentage.
That's 46% on the drive. Up and in by Jackson. FSU continues to hang in the game with a little over 8 minutes to go.
Haven't really been able to get it into single digits, but you feel like they've been able to find some success. Now Florida State has to find a way to get some stops on this end of the floor, especially with Filipowski sitting down with those 4 fouls.
Blakes kicks it out. Whitehead off the front iron. And it's kick free to Cleveland. He finds Green, but he overshot him at the pass.
Missed opportunity.
Helps that. So it's Duke by 12. Here's Mitchell. Spinning to the basket. In the paint. Boy, did he want to shoot that shot? From the second he touched it, he was going to shoot it.
And by design, Jon Scheyer wants to make sure he gets the basketball into Mitchell's hands and allows him to play one-on-one in the middle of the floor, and it works out for the Blue Devils.
He has 6, feels like more than that for Mitchell. Green turns to fire off the front iron. Rebound batting around, and Duke has it again. Approaching the 7-minute mark here at Cameron Indoor. Sold out, of course. Mitchell again. He's kind of bottled up. The possession arrow belongs to the Seminoles.
And that's the second time Jackson.
As a head coach many years ago had some wins taken away. I think 22. So he might feel like, well, I've already been there. Over the top. And the foul will go on Young. Undercutting Naheem McLeod. The 7. And Mills, maybe some frustration there. Trying to slow down Roach. He commits the Duke up 78 to 56. Duke, by the way, 13-3 all-time on New Year's Eve and knocked away. Another theft. Well, the turnovers have been a big part of the story for FSU, right?
It really has been a great job by Blakes there, getting a hand, even though it's tight quarters, fighting around to come away with that steal and deflection.
It's 12 turnovers for the Seminoles. Feels like a lot more than that. They come in critical situations. Here's Roach. Yes, a three-pointer. And now Duke is really laying it on.
Well, and the reason why it feels like more turnovers is because Duke continues to capitalize on each and every one of those turnovers.
Duke on a 12-0 run. Worley with a little floater in and out. And Duke running away with this one here late in the second half on top 81-56.
We go back to the possession where Florida State gets, Matthew Cleveland gets a rebound. He's got two guys ahead, throws it away, ends up being a turnover in a possession where they could have cut it to 10. And just like that, lost momentum as they have been playing great through that stretch.
Whitehead's triple short. Foul here against Duke with 3:10.
3 Australian-born players to play for the Blue Devils.
I like the question. And I think the next time you and I work, which will be on Tuesday at Louisville, you'll have another one for us. It'll be a regular part of our broadcast. And a foul with 1:04 to go. And hiding here from the Seminoles.
And Duke had that signature run at the end of the first half that really created that separation. Florida State unable to really cut into that at any point here at the second half.
Whitehead's triple. Crowd love that. And really, that's something that had been missing a little bit from this Duke team, that ability to really break away, which was a patented thing under Coach K. Here's Cleveland's shot. That'll rattle off the iron. But today they did it. It felt very Duke-like.
Well, they found some shooting. Jalen Blakes, Dariq Whitehead, both these guys have stepped up, knocked down shots. Filipowski didn't have a big offensive output, but Ryan Young took up the slack for everyone in a Blue Devil uniform. 20 points, 12 boards for Young, who has to be today's player of the game.
No trouble. Blue Devils scoring a ton of points today. Cleveland ahead of the field will slam that down. Maybe the last basket we see here this afternoon at Cameron Indoor as Duke rolls to a big victory over Florida State. Their final score today, 86-67. And Jon Scheyer felt his team